Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Hump Day edition of the JP Peterson Show. Hump Day!
Hump Day!
Yeah, we get to go talk to Baker and the boys today. Be looking forward to that after what was a very entertaining game at Buffalo. I think when you lose a game like that, the fan base, you're just really, really disappointed. Maybe sometimes we I definitely have some friends and fans that are like this. It's just like they can't enjoy the games at any point when they lose. And I get that. That's great. It's great passion for the sport. Great passion for the sport. But it was entertaining, extremely entertaining. And Bucs games usually are. That's the good part about it. So we get allotted to Bucs today, and get your thoughts as well. We haven't had a whole lot of time this week to get to the commenters. So we'll try to do a lot of that today. No guests today, so you just got me and Timmy, as long as Timmy lasts, because Timmy is he's fighting the old kidney stone today, playing hurt, stepping up. He's no LeBron. He is stepping up and playing hurt today. We appreciate that, partner.
Yep. Nowhere else to go. Got to play hurt, man.
So I may
the love
be
of the
doing
game,
the
JP.
second
It's
half of the show.
It's the love of the game. That's what it is.
Yes. All right. Well, hang in there, partner. We appreciate you playing hurt. We really do. The Rays made some moves. We'll try to make some sense out of that. Talked to Orestes Estrada yesterday on the O Show, and some of these moves came down. So if you want to go check out his thoughts on that, I'll relay some of them today. So we'll get into that a little bit. The Lightning last night, really, really good 5-1 win over the Devils. We'll get up all over that. John Cooper missed the game last night for personal reasons, and our thoughts and prayers going out to Coop. And hope everything's going to turn out okay for him. Jeff Halpern did a great job behind the bench, and the boys really played hard last night and played well against a really good Devils team. So we'll jump into that a little bit. College football playoff rankings came out. I'll admit, Timmy, I didn't watch the show. I'm kind of done watching the show.
Really?
Because it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
It is. Yeah.
At this point, it's irrelevant. It's just, the machinations and all the different things that can happen. So many games need to be played and everything changes once those games are played. There's no carryover week to week. And there shouldn't be, because the information and data changes when, schedules are so much affected by playing top 5, top 10 teams. And those games mean a hell of a lot more than maybe for some teams the rest of their schedule. So we'll get into that a little bit, but maybe kind of look ahead to what matchups might be coming. We can do that, and where those arguments are going to be coming down to. I think we're gonna have a lot of arguments at the end of this college football playoff, like who's worthy and who's not, because it feels like, anything after 5, it's kind of all the same, going back to maybe 15, right?
Yeah,
the group between 5 and maybe even 20. There's a lot of the same stuff, and good teams, not great teams. I think we maybe only have a couple of great teams, which is usually the case almost every year. But we have 12 in, and that's fun. We'll have a ton of fun with it.
See, I don't know that we have any great teams this year, and I think that's part of the appeal of this season.
You don't think Ohio State and Texas? I'm saying Texas A&M's a great team.
Well, let's say elite. I think A&M's better than Ohio State, and I'm not saying that just on bias, because I cover Ohio State too. I talk that all the time.
Yeah.
And they haven't been really tested this year. Yeah. I don't think. Now, they've literally pretty much blown everybody out that they've played, but I just don't think they've been tested. I don't think Julian Sand has been battle tested quite yet, and he won't be
not consistently. That's for sure.
No,
yeah,
and he won't be until the playoff. But I think that's part of the appeal. The Aggies are really, really good, but I don't feel like even they're battle tested because of their history, right? They've just never really been in this position in the last 40 years. So you don't know what you're getting with a second-year head coach and Mike Elko there, and with Marcel Reed, he is a sophomore. He hasn't been in a playoff before, so I think that's part of the appeal that you get with this bracket when the final comes out. That you've got some of those classic teams that are back in the back of the field, and man, Texas probably isn't even going to make it.
Nor should they.
Nor should they. And look, we're going to have.
You get beat by the Gators, you're out. Of course, I can say that about Alabama. You get beat by FSU, you should be out.
Yeah, and they're probably going to get in. They're going to get in for sure.
Of course.
You're going to probably have 2 Big 12 teams in. BYU, and that might bounce Alabama out, because BYU and Texas Tech are both getting in. I'm relatively certain. And that might bounce Alabama. I mean, I don't know. And now you're going to have North
Tech deserves it. I'm not sure about BYU. BYU.
We'll see. I mean, they're probably going to meet in the Big 12 title game, but if either one, whichever. So if BYU wins the Big 12 title game over Texas Tech, they're getting in, but are you going to leave Texas Tech out for losing the Big 12 title game? You can't really do that. Yeah. So
no way.
And there was a time until before Texas lost to Georgia when we were looking at Texas A&M, Texas Tech, University of Texas, and North Texas. 4 teams from the state of Texas making up 1/3 of the college football playoff bracket. But the Longhorns, spoiled that against Georgia. But man, to me, it's the most intriguing. And I know it's only we're really early into this playoff system, but man, to me, it's the most intriguing that we've had yet.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely no dominant teams, but I think Ohio State, Texas A&M, I think they've separated a little bit, but again, to your point, Ohio State just hasn't been tested. We don't know. So yeah. All right. Let's have that discussion as well. And speaking of college football, yes, USF fans, even some of my loyalist supporters have come after me viciously attacking me. So what is my response? I invite them on the show. Said, come on, Tally Bull, come on the show. Yeah. I think it's a great and fascinating conversations going to expectations of fan bases. So much so that, I'm not the only one noticing this, by the way. The USF fans have kind of gone off the rail. Your own campus newspaper has noticed it as well. The Oracle did a whole commentary on the fan base. It says, as Bulls football sits at 73, outspoken USF fans have taken to social media, have quickly identified third-year coach Alex Golesh as the problem. But in the words of the late USF basketball coach Amir Abdur-Rahim, relax. So, I'm going to kind of read their response as well, because I think it was really, well written. I like the fact that, it is the Oracle and it is the school newspaper. So I think it's kind of cool. And I think it needs to be addressed in a most positive way, by the way. I'm not here to spank the USF fans. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not here to run down the USF fans. And I think you saw this last week, Tim. I am unapologetically in support of USF, and I want them in the worst way to be relevant. It makes our show better from a business standpoint. More people watch. And maybe you're watching just to hate on me. That's fine. Love the numbers. Rush Limbaugh made a career out of that. So I'm okay to be hated. It's all right. I'm just trying to be objective. And I see certain things, and I'm not the only one who sees it. I even went as far as to text Rob Higgins today. I said, can we have a conversation about your fan base going after Coach Golesh? And I, and to some degree, maybe coaches don't read that stuff. It doesn't matter. I think they do. I think they very much do. And if I'm noticing it and the school newspapers are noticing it and it's a topic, maybe there should be some introspection on the part of the fan base, instead of always screaming and yelling at everybody who dares criticize USF one bit. Maybe be a little bit more self-aware. And listen, I try to take that same advice every day. I listen to this excoriating rebuke of me that was put on Twitter, and I'm going to read the whole thing actually, and and respond. And I think it's a fascinating conversation, and I think there needs to be some growth here on everyone's part. So we can do that, right? Can we do that? Absolutely. And Timmy, I think you're awesome for a part of this discussion because you've covered college football for so long. Your team And first of all, can we all admit that we are all psycho about our college teams? We don't think clearly. We just don't. We're too emotionally and passionately involved. And I'll be the first to raise my hand on that and admit that and say, okay, yeah, I'll check myself. I'm open to criticism. Absolutely. Because when we're being passionate, and I totally commend the USF fan base for being passionate. That's great. We need to channel that passion, though, in the right direction, in my opinion. And you've seen your team A&M go through great, some nice moments, but it's been a lot of futility, right? It's been a lot of futility, and it's a long history. There have been bright spots and not so bright spots. But I think when it comes to fan bases, there needs to be some acceptance of who you are and where you are.
Right.
And that's not a slight. And I want to remind U.S. fans out there that – go ahead.
I was going to say, kind of along those lines, we've talked about the USF fan base, people not showing up for games, not supporting their team locally. You've talked about that quite a bit, especially recently in a season where they need the support, they need the showing from the fans. They have not shown up at the stadium in droves like maybe they should have. And I know they're in different conferences and on different levels of the year right now, but I just wanted to point out, because I don't think I brought it up since yesterday when we were talking Aggies, South Carolina. The Aggies were down 30-3 at the half in an important game. 107,000 people, by the way, at the game. Not one person left at halftime. I don't know if you noticed that on TV. Whoever was watching it on TV, nobody left at halftime. And by the way, at Aggies games, nobody sits down. Everybody stands the entire game. It's a tradition. So
love that.
Not only were you standing up, you didn't leave. And to me, man, that is the kind of support. And trust me, the players notice that. The coaching staff notices that. Elko commented on it. He's like, yeah, I'll be honest, I couldn't believe the stadium was still full to start the third quarter. And he said that's a testament to this fan base. And man, that's the kind of support a program like USF needs right now. And it's when it's there, there's nothing like it. And there's nothing that can replicate it.
No, and that's where I'm trying to get to, and maybe it would be best if I read the stinging rebuke first.
Was this on Twitter? Because I tried to find it and I couldn't find it.
Maybe that's a good place to. Yeah, it's on Twitter. Here, I'll call it up right here. It was written by. He deleted the post.
Oh, that's why I couldn't find it.
Oh, you can't do that, Tally Bull. I was just going to read it on air. I think it's listen, you rip me. Yeah, that's fine. But I want, you made some great points. Okay. No, here it is. I got it. It's a little long, but I think it's fun. He says, there have been some overreaction by USF fans the last few days. Yes, but it surprises me that JP Peterson Show and others still don't appreciate what USF fans have gone through since 1997 and how devastating Saturday's loss was. He doesn't appreciate it because at bottom, he's not one of us. 100%. 100% true, bro. I don't come from your perspective. I totally get that and fully admit that. But maybe some outside perspective will help you here. And we'll all learn something. Because I'm learning something from your post for sure and taking it to heart as well. USF fans, you'll never forget any real sympathy from media figures. You'll never get any real sympathy from media figures outside our USF community. You'll get some pandering here and there, people who wear hats and T-shirts and especially if we're doing well in the field, then sharp criticism the moment you express a severe disappointment after what was perhaps the most devastating loss in team history to date. Let me just say this. I'm not pandering. I'm not. I'm truly interested in USF doing well. I mean, that's obvious from the business model that we've created. We need USF fans to be part of this business model. So selfishly, for me and my partners, we have no interest in alienating USF folks. In fact, we have a great interest and have taken a great interest in cultivating said fan base. So maybe not look at it as pandering, and and look at it as support and true support. There's a lot of people over there that I know, but not just know, that I love as human beings. Derek Brooks, Rob Higgins, Ken Erickson. The list is ridiculously long. Jose Fernandez, who just left. It's long, and I love a lot of people over there, and I don't want to leave anybody out because there's a ton. But so this is not pandering. But the fact that every time somebody says something bad about you guys, you all freak out. Listen, and I understand the media coverage in other outlets has not been great over the years. Don't blame me for that. We've really tried to support it. But I recognize that, no, I'm not as emotionally branded as you are. I get that. And by the way, 1997, you're a baby. You're a baby in this deal. And I'm not talking down to you. It's just a fact. And what you've done in 29 years is insanely good on the football field. Insanely good, historically relevant and wonderful. But it took Bobby Bowden 17 years to win his first national championship. 17 years. And through those 17 years, were there times where the fans were upset? Yep. But nobody wanted to fire Coach Bowden. And I know there wasn't, Twitter like we know it now and social media. I get that. But there was never, trust me, I was there for the whole damn thing. And there was never, nobody was hanging Bobby Bowden in effigy like they did in West Virginia. You know why? Because at that particular time, we remembered 0-11 and Darryl Mudra. We almost dropped the damn football team until Bobby Bowden, St. Bobby, came in to save it. And there was a time when everybody was like, not everybody, but the national narrative on Bobby was he can't win the big one. He was James Franklin. He was every bit James Franklin, if not more. But we didn't fire him. The fan base wasn't, going pitchforks and torches, because we saw something in the man that was bigger than football. And his employers, thankfully, saw that as well, that he was building something, that he was creating a culture. Something, by the way, Mike Norvell has not done in 6 years. Plenty of time. There are no signs of it. With Bobby, there were plenty of signs. If you're paying attention. So it's patience that's going to bring you the biggest rewards. And also, look at the history of college football. How many metropolitan universities, of which USF is one, where it's not the only game in town, how many of those have risen up from nothing, from trailers, to become consistent top 25 programs? None. Can you think of any, Timmy?
No.
I mean, maybe, Cincinnati spots every now and then. Miami's greatness came in a different era. And if you notice, they ain't won squat since 2001. Not an ACC championship. It's hard. I get it. But and this is why I'm saying you have to understand where you are in the hierarchy and accept it. You don't have to accept it and stay there, but just accept it as what your expectations are, as to what your expectations are. By any measure, Alex Golesh in 3 years has taken this program from one FCS win in 3 years, 4 total wins, to 7 wins, each of his 2 first ones, bowl wins. And I know there ain't a whole lot of quality wins in those first 2 years, but there's a Boise State win, a top 25 win, going to Florida and winning. And even his last couple of years going toe-to-toe with Florida and Alabama. If you don't see growth from your team and your coach, you're just not paying attention. And it's not just a little bit. It's tremendous growth. Tremendous growth. And the vitriol of which USF attacked his coach. And did he make some bonehead calls? Yes. It's a football game. That dude's making 10,000 decisions in a game. A few of them you're not going to get right. And he always preaches the process. He needs to preach this to the fan base as well. Don't do everything outcome related. Don't have all of your reactions out. Yes, it was a disappointing loss. I get that. But talk about he made a bad decision here. He made a bad decision here. But we don't need him anyway. I hope he goes somewhere else. Go to Arkansas. Go to Oklahoma State. By the way, USF basketball at Oklahoma State tonight. It's not quite Lane Kiffin coaching against Florida Gators, which, by the way, Dan Mullen's house just sold after being on his old house just sold after being on the market for 8 months for $3 million in Gainesville.
Was that
Who
you?
just bought that house? It wasn't me. It wasn't Tim. But it might be Lane Kiffin or someone from his family. I don't know. But it's understand that Golesh is building something here. And he needs the fan base to come along with him. And this is not, as a lot of people say, it's just 10 idiots and bots on Twitter. No, first of all, bots don't do that. This is not a political campaign. Nobody's, unless some crazed UCF fan is out there creating bots and trying to destroy which I guess we can't put that past people, right? But it's the vitriol directed directly at the coach. And that he's not a good coach and doesn't need to be here and needs to go and all. Like, you're out of your effing mind. And it's not just a few, it's a lot. And if he leaves, you can't really blame him, to be quite honest. All right, Tally Bull continues here. I want to continue. See, there's fans of other schools with just as toxic, if not more toxic. That's true. Fans as us, FSU fans, were celebrating how amazing Norvell was as recently as September because of their big win over Bama. But the moment they lost to Stanford, they were out for blood. Still are. If you listen to JP's show and others, patience and rules for thee, but not for me. Spare us the righteous indignation and hypocrisy, JP. You scold USF fans for the same identical shit you and your like engage in almost every single day, especially after FSU's loss to Stanford. But FSU should never lose to Stanford. That was unacceptable. Fire Norvell. Thing is, like I said yesterday, money and expectations don't win football games. You and Joey Knight love to talk about attendance. Is FSU's attendance good? Yes. But I live in Tallahassee, and it's the only game in town in the fall. FSU always has a long history, tradition of winning, and a captive audience to draw from. Absolutely. He says USF is less than 30 years old, currently plays in an NFL stadium with a pirate ship, and sits in a market literally 10 times the size of Tallahassee, with 3 professional sports teams competing for entertainment dollars. Would I like to see USF attendance improve? Yes, but our nauseating focusing on it seems less about encouraging people to come out to games and more about having a convenient club to use on us when you deem it time to put us back in our place. Little insignificant program that was in your eyes. Okay, I get this. I understand this, and I agree with many of your points here. There's a lot of issues with attendance, but we're not asking for 80, 90,000 people. We're not asking for 110,000 people at Kyle Field. To fill that lower bowl is what, 35,000? Is that not an acceptable goal? Is that not acceptable? And I so know some of the attendance numbers. There was 30, I think 49 for the homecoming game. So it's there. It's there. It can be done. And I'm not using it as a club. I'm just trying to explain that, for recruits and stuff, for the crew. I was there at the game the other night, and there must have been 200 recruits. And you just have to understand that I know it's UTSA, but it was a big game on a Thursday night. And I don't know how many were there, but the entire side, the visiting side with lower bowl was almost empty. The home side was nice, but that's just not going to get it when you're trying to recruit these players against, Florida, Florida State, Alabama, Georgia. At some point, the fan base has to stand up and be better. Is that not a fair assumption and ask? And listen, here is the point. You're not FSU. I hate to tell you this. FSU is not Alabama. We're not Georgia. We're not Ohio State. We once were. We're not anymore. I respect that. But should our expectations be higher than USF's? Hell yes. Hell yes. We've won 3 national championships. We spend twice as much on NIL than USF does, if not more. And roster. We have a longer tradition, almost, coming up on 80 years now. And we're still a baby in this college football thing. And yes, our expectations should be higher than USF's. Is that not true? And by the way, Mike Norvell's had 6 years. You've given Alex Golesh 3. I have every right to say Norvell should leave. And no, I wasn't doing cartwheels when they beat Alabama. Did I say, oh, yeah, we might be back? He did it again. And then followed by, let's see what happens the rest of the season. And we've seen what happened the rest of the season. And it's just as we suspected. The guy can't build anything of consistency. And he needs to go. It's a totally different situation. Completely different situation. And the fact that many of you don't recognize it is part of the problem. I'm not talking down to you or admonishing you. Well, I may be admonishing you, but I'm certainly not talking down to you. I, as a person who has covered a major program, part of the radio team, part of within it, seeing exactly how this stuff works, and in a portion of their building in the early 80s and through the 90s, where they became a power. I know how this works. I've seen the template. And so is Timmy. We know how this stuff works. And a lot of the USF folks do too, because you were fans of other teams, of Florida and FSU and Miami when they were winning national championships. And yes, the game has changed completely. It has totally changed. But one thing remains the same. If you as a group don't pull in the same direction, you're never going to be good. You're never going to be good. I'm not saying the fan base can't criticize the coach. That's not what I'm saying. Criticize coaching decisions. Don't fire the coach. You all look like the Dr. Pepper commercial where you show up at the front of his house with the hot seat. Freaking love that commercial. And then cue the sign.
Those are great.
And it's like, yeah, it's you got to have some perspective. You got to have some perspective. You're a young program. You got a good young coach. And frankly, you got to do everything to keep him. And that's not doing everything to keep him. And if you think he's not paying attention to that stuff, I got news for you. How can you not? How can you not? Your student newspaper's writing an article on it. I think y'all need to have a little bit of self-awareness. That's all. And I'm trying to understand where you guys are coming from. And I get the emotion. I get the passion. I appreciate it. But at some point, yeah. Let me just finish his post here. Alex Golesh may very well leave or stay. I sincerely doubt he's making what decisions based on a handful of burner accounts on X have to say. That's always your all's default. Oh, it's just a handful of burner accounts. No, it's not. No, it's not. And you know it. You read it. You've been on its social media, Tallybull. You know more than anybody. Or what I have to say. No, he's not making his decision on what I have to say. But if you don't think this is part of the decision, and let me ask you this, would he be more likely to stay if the reaction to a loss like this was more reasonable and supported from the fan base? Yeah. I think that's pretty obvious. It works both ways. Works both ways. Is he paying attention to the negativity? Sure. Would the positivity help? Yeah, sure would. So let's not pretend like it's nothing. He finishes, I like you, JP. I like your pod, and I enjoy your takes on most things, especially the Bucs and the Rays. But your USF commentary the last few days is proof that you still don't understand USF and probably never will. Well, that may be true. That may be true. It's not maybe. It's true. I do not understand it to the level of your passion and your emotion. 100%. I fully admit that, but I'm trying to be supportive. And if every time someone criticizes you and you go off on everybody all the time, at some point you don't have a whole lot of supporters in the media. And I could go back to Steve Dumig and Chris Thomas and everybody else who went through the same thing I'm going through. And at some point, when you had 17 divorces, you ought to say, you know what, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I should look at some things. Maybe. And I understand it's just hard because I'm talking to a nebulous bunch, right? Like it's not one person we're talking to. Right. But I can say, as a group represented not only in the Twitter sphere, but in your actions in terms of showing up at games and supporting the program. I'm not asking for 80,000 every night. I'm asking, can we fill it up for a big game on a Thursday night on ESPN? Can we do that? Can we show up for senior day? Let's turn this passion and emotion into something positive. So, all right. So, your thoughts on that? Let me get your reaction, Timmy.
Yeah, but before we go to break here, I think part of the issue, and again, I'm so far removed from this situation, but just from what we've discussed on the show, from what I've watched this season and USF football, what I know about the fan base from being 1,000 miles away geographically, it seems to me that the fan base is very passive. And when someone like yourself with a platform steps up and shows signs of aggression, not in a negative sense, but being an aggressive supporter, and I think you're a fan of the Bulls. Obviously, I don't think you're just a supporter. I think you're a fan of the Bulls.
Yes.
When someone shows up with a little bit of aggressive fandom, I don't know that the rest of the fan base knows how to react to that. I think it's a foreign concept for a lot of those, and I don't know Tally Bull. I know that you do. I can tell by his Twitter feed he's a passionate Bull, and
extremely.
Yeah, and that's great. But it seems like now that you're maybe matching his aggression, but it's not what he wants to hear, this is his reaction. And I did find this on his Twitter feed, by the way, because it looks like he did at one point remove the tweet because he threw this up there earlier. I just deleted a long cathartic post putting JP Peterson on blast this morning. He has been very critical of USF fans the past few days, and I thought some of it was unfair, but overall he's friendly. And I think I let my USF passion get the best of me. Rough week, go Bulls. So, he kind of apologized. But again, I don't know that anything he said was necessarily out of line. It's just his viewpoint on, and I think he's just as disappointed as everybody else, I think, and in the way the game went, and the way the season might have turned around. But, for the most part, I get it. I do. Trust me.
And I
as
love
a
the
lifelong
passion.
Aggies fan, I get it.
I love the passion. And I read it and I was like, wow, man, this is a little surprising, but I get it. And I didn't hide from it. I'm not here and I'm not ripping him either. I just think, I'm saying there's some self-awareness that needs to be had on both parts, on my part and his part and the fan base's part. I think that's why I brought it to the table, because I think we can all be better from this. And we need to, as this program grows, all right, we're going to learn along the way. We're all going to learn along the way what works and what doesn't work. But I can tell you, just in life in general, when you're moving in different directions and, whether it's a family, a relationship, and people aren't talking it through, talking through their problems, we're doing here. We're having a little therapy session. You don't talk through your problems, and name calling and, insults don't help. It's very analogous to a relationship, what we're going through here. These things don't help. What we need to do is try to understand each other and come together and move forward in a positive way. I'm sure that's what Rob Higgins would say. And that's what I'm trying to do here, is we all need to understand that as a fan base, and I'll say we, because I'm part of this fan base, whether you like it or not, Tally Bowl. I'm not to your level and never will be. I totally admit that. But I want to be part of the solution for damn sure. I want to be part of the, the solution that makes this program grow. And I'm just trying to say, hey, this is not good. We need to be better as a group. We can criticize the coach. That's fine. His in terms of his decisions, but personal attacks and telling him to haul ass is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, we need to hit a break, and when we come back, I want to get to all the comments here. And also, yes, we got to get into the Rays. Christopher Morel is gone. Yay. Boy, it just gets better, bro. Hey, we got rid of the owner. Now we got rid of Morel. Yeah, we are on a roll. Let's go. Let's go. We almost got a new stadium built. Man, this is going to be fun. All right, we are brought to you by the great folks at the G's Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They're local, they are trusted, and they get results. Don't go to a big law firm. That'll just make you a number, folks. And knowing the local legal landscape is very, very important to your case. So make sure if you're in an accident, Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, non-attorney spokesman, offices Tampa and St. Pete. And the great folks at Genesis of Tampa. You know, everybody likes to get something nice and shiny for Christmas. How about a new car for yourself or maybe for your spouse? Stop by Genesis of Tampa. Meet the great folks over there. Tell them JP sent you. Mike Murphy, the owner over there, is one of the new limited partners of the Rays. Great dude, great company, great local company that really invests in the local community. But that's not why you buy a car there. It's the deal, and it's the car, and it's the value, and it's awesome at Genesis of Tampa. Go check it out. Do the test drive. You'll see what I'm talking about. And they're offering some incredible lease specials now at the end of the year. So go see all the cars at Genesis of Tampa. They've got great new cars, gently used cars, all that stuff. And it's a great company, genesisoftampa.com. Back in 3. Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week. So go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. This is a great time to do the Italiano Insurance checkup because, man, things are getting so expensive. So it's not just what you make, it's what you keep. So if you can save a few hundred, maybe thousands of dollars on insurance, why not do it? And you don't have to do the work. Just call them at 813-877-7799 and say, insurance is killing me. Can you shop this around and save me some money? JP told me you could help me out, and hopefully you will. I've had so many stories, people walking up to me and saying, "Oh, Italiano, save me $1,000 on this." Save me. One business client got $26,000 savings because they were doing their business insurance with their golf buddy, and they finally said, "You know what? Maybe I should shop it around," and called Italiano, saved $26,000. So that's not typical, but it could happen to you. The point is, let them shop it around and find out if they can save you money. 813-877-7799. What would you do to your golf buddy, Timmy, if like you called another and like, dude, I've been paying $26,000 more a year from my business. What kind of commission you making on this, Jack?
That's insane.
I think that he wouldn't be my golf buddy anymore.
No,
and I might
not at all.
With my 7-iron would finally get some good use. Produce some results for once. Be a bloody mess.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
All right,
JP, before you get to comments or wherever you're going here,
yes, sir.
Can I steer the ship for just a second?
Absolutely.
I like when you let me steer things. It's fun. Except for your BMW. I don't want to touch that. So the Dallas, what I need to do is pick JP's hockey brain here for a second, because the Dallas Stars fall to the New York Islanders last night, 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a bit of hockey controversy, hockeyversy, as we call it. So I need to pick JP's hockey brain because the Stars are down 3-1 at home to the hated New York Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
Stars pull Ottinger with about 250. All right, down 2
goals.
159 left. Jason Robertson, who has 8 goals in his last 4 games, by the way, scores on a backhander, 6-on-5 with Ottinger on the bench. So it's 3-2. With 28 seconds left in the game, Mikko Rantanen gets ejected for boarding Romanov. Romanov had to be helped off the ice. He kind of fell awkwardly after getting hit from behind by Rantanen. He kind of fell awkwardly. So you see guys do, they lose their balance. Went face first into the boards. It was pretty ugly. And I know that wasn't the intent by Rantanen, obviously, but I think the ejection was warranted. I mean, I'm not going to fight for my guy on this one.
All right.
So 28 seconds. You lose your man advantage. So you're back to 5-on-5. Ottinger is still on the bench, and you're playing 5-on-5.
Yeah.
As the clock is ticking away, we get this.
Players, a lot of personnel going absolutely ballistic.
Wyatt Johnston.
And a lot to
goal with .1.
Adjudicate.
Oh my Lord!
The situation room
JP,
level.
that goal was disallowed because of goalie interference.
Okay, well, the problem is I can't see. Well, okay, so roll it again.
Hang
so
on,
was he pushed into the goalie, or was he?
That's what I want. That was the ruling, and that's what I want your opinion on.
We might need a longer version of this. Okay,
let me go full screen here for you. as we replay it here.
Coaches, players, a lot of personnel going absolutely ballistic.
He's pushed into the goal.
And a lot to adjudicate at the situation room level.
So Jason Robertson is clearly getting checked into the goalie.
Yes. My call would be he's pushed into the goalie and the goal should stand. That would be my call.
Yeah, that is not what they called on the ice and in the arena. They just called it goalie interference. The goal was disallowed. Stars lose 3-2. Now that would have tied it, obviously, with an opportunity and given him a point. Snaps their 5-game winning streak. They're on a tear. And yeah, it's so a lot of controversy here in Dallas. That's what's being discussed on sports radio, rightfully.
Yeah, that seems like it's twofold though. If he's not pushed into the goaltender, does the guy make the save in time for the game to be? Yes, no question about it. But he was pushed into the goaltender.
Yeah,
and that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
It is.
Because I think the save is made. I think what happens is if any contact with the goalie at all, if he could have made the save, I think they try to err on that side. Otherwise, it's kind of a cheap goal, right? Which I think is good. I think in general for the game, I think that's good. I don't want to get down to the technicalities, but that seems pretty obvious to me that he was knocked into the goalie.
That's what I thought too.
So it's not the most egregious call in the world. Yeah. Yeah. And I may need to see a little bit longer, to see what happened with those two guys before they got into the crease, Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and to your point, but by the way, last night, great performance by the Lightning. We'll do a quick Lightning take here. Hat trick by Jake Gensel. Nice to see. Kucherov gets a goal. A lot of good stuff because a lot of stuff that they haven't been doing, they did last night. And that's good to see. First of all, getting the big guns going. Kucherov, Gensel, Point still is an MIA. Whew, Lordy. Don't know what's going on there. Right. But Gensel with the hat trick, and they had 2 power play goals. They were 0 for 10, 0 for their last 10 after screwing up the first power play. And then Radish from the point hits Gensel's stick, who's right at and Gensel switches to the left side instead of the right side. So opposite where the bumper guy is. I think that opens things up a little bit more on that side because they're still trying to feed Bjorkstrand for the one-timer, and he's struggling mightily on that. Looked a little bit better yesterday. He still needs to elevate the puck. And again, expectations. He's not Steven Stamkos, and he never will be. But he's got to be better than he's been. Absolutely. 100%.
Neither is Steven Stamkos anymore, though.
Yeah, true. So yeah, it's Gensel gets 2. He's had 3 tip-in goals now, I think, in the last little bit, which is really good. So the power play was good last night. The penalty kill was fantastic again, 4 for 4. They had a 2-goal lead going into the third, and they didn't give up 5. And instead, they allowed just 6 shots. Allowed 6 shots from a very good Devils team. Very good. Now, Jack Hughes wasn't playing. How about that? I need to know the true story of the Barstool steak dinner where he sliced his finger off. I think we all need to know the true story there. But anyway, and speaking of that, did you see Scataboom at WWE the other night? Doesn't he have like an ankle dislocation?
Yeah, he's on a scooter.
He's fighting with he's part of the script and getting knocked back by. What the hell's going on there?
Media is going crazy about that yesterday.
As they should.
See, and I disagree, man. So what? It's all staged anyway. We know this.
I know.
This was all set up. It was approved by the league. It was approved by the team. It was fake pushing. It wasn't even real. I've seen the video.
It was approved by the team? It was approved by the team.
It has to have been by the Giants.
I don't know about all that. Anyway,
it's crazy. But I thought it was cool. I'm a Cam Scatterbo fan for sure.
Oh, I am too, but it's a little nutso. But anyway, so getting back to the Lightning, great performance last night. The penalty kill was fantastic. Vasi was really good. Vasi was great Saturday. He was fantastic last night. He made a glove save that was just absolutely scintillating. So he looks like he's really, really rounding into form, which is great. And it also looks like Johansson's going to play a lot more this year, which is great to give Avassi a little bit more of a break, keep him fresher for the playoffs. I think that's a great development. Cooper was not there last night for personal reasons, but they played really, really well, and they locked it down in the third. They were down top 4 defensemen as well, and they brought up Carlisle and what is his name? Scatini. I screwed it up. I wrote it down and I it. Anyway, the 2 guys from Syracuse who never played together before, which is you thought they would have played together, but and Engblom made a great point on the post game show. Sometimes when you brought up from Syracuse and you have to play with Hedman, you're constantly deferring to him, or McDonough. You're constantly deferring because you feel out of place. Whereas if you're paired with somebody from Syracuse, you just play your game, right? And so I thought that was really interesting point, and they really looked connected and played really well together. Against again a really good Devils team. So big 5-1 win last night. They got Edmonton coming in Thursday night. Connor McDavid and the boys and Draisaitl. Woo, that should be good. That's gonna be a good one.
So I saw JP. It looked like in John Cooper's absence that dude from the Office TV show was the coach, Jim Halpert.
Oh, Halpert?
Oh, wasn't Jim Halpert?
No, not that guy.
Okay, I thought that was weird.
Yeah. So interesting time for the Lightning and Dan Highnote, one of their new assistants. Kind of ran the practice I heard on Monday, and it was a tough practice. And he talked about pushing these guys to be better than they can be in terms of their conditioning. And, Brian Bradley talked about that too. He said that's what he thought the slow start was about, that the guys just weren't ready for the preseason. The preseason didn't prepare them or whatever. But just he said that they were out of shape. And it seems like since they've rounded into shape, they've played a lot better. Now they've made some tactical changes in who's playing. I think Destu has been a really good addition. They've made some nice additions. So Dominic James as well. So I think they're playing a hell of a lot better. That's 9 of 12 now that they've won, and big game coming up on Thursday night. All right, to the comments, and if you can help me here, Timmy, just grab the USF comments so we can just be done with that topic today, and we'll move on to the Bucs and the Rays because a lot of people want to talk about that as well. Try just to keep it on point. If you see some of those, and yes, as we will get to Morrell here in a little bit. Richie P says, as a USF basketball season ticket holder, I love supporting the local school, but I can honestly say I really appreciate the passion out there. I just wish there were more of us who showed it. Yeah. But in a more positive way. Again, criticizing coach is not the problem. The coaching moves. But it's the personal get the hell out of here stuff that was way too much for me. James says, JP, USF brass made so many bad decisions it has affected the fan base. You lose 2 conference games to Memphis and Navy, and most fans say, wait a sec, every time we have a program-changing game, we lose. Yeah, that's how it works, though. When Florida State back in the 80s went on, when Bobby was the king of the road and went on, beat Ohio State on the road in Nebraska, they didn't win all those games.
Yeah. And
we got, in 83, 84, 85, after going to 2 straight Orange Bowls and undefeated, there was a lull. There were some 6-5 seasons, and some losses to Southern Miss. But you don't, fire Bowden, get him out of here. Can't win a bit, No, you got to stay patient. You got to stay patient and say, boy, that loss sucks. And our guys didn't play well and Bowden got out coached and we got to be better. That's fine. But, the vitriol and get the hell out of here stuff is, I don't know. But again, I understand the passion. Marty Aaron says, good show. We all need to remember that this is entertainment. That's all. It should bring us together, even with different viewpoints and teams we support. Let's have fun. Yeah. Thank you, Marty, for that. I mean, and I forget this sometimes as well. But it's kind of my point, about the Bucs game. It's entertainment, folks. It's not life and death. It's entertainment. It's supposed to take us away from our shitty lives, and so we can enjoy some stuff. And we get so emotional and so frustrated over it. I think we're losing the point. We got to keep it in perspective. And listen, in my younger days, I was, FSU would lose games, and I would get that pit in my stomach. That feeling.
Yeah.
I've stood under the uprights and watched, Dan Mowry and Jerry Thomas and other FSU kickers
wide right,
miss makeable field goal, wide right, wide left, whatever. I've been there, bro, and it sucks. But we have to keep things in perspective. First name Greatest says, I think I've gone to more USF basketball than football. Maybe because it's on campus. Interesting. Cole says, you're a big part of the solution, JP. Thank you. You're more of a solution than most diehard fans. Thank you. Hope so. Richie P says, I had a friend say last night, I'm getting too worked up over USF. And I was like, no, dude, you're vested, active alumni. We need more of it. We are not there as a university where it's toxic yet. I don't know.
Like the Gators fan base.
Every fan base has a toxic wing. We all do.
Yeah.
But we got to, it's like our country. We need to keep these people under wraps a little bit. We obviously you have every right to say what you're going to say. But if you're truly interested in your university or your fandom helping your team get better, it has to be, controlled in some way. Any other USF stuff? Oh, this is interesting. Richie P says, USF basketball games was the place back in the day. I remember going once and walking in with Derek Jeter. My girlfriend at the time was like, that's Jeter. And I was like, you better shoot your shot. Man, you just let her go, didn't you?
How'd that work out?
I don't think I would be telling my girl or my wife, yeah, go shoot your shot with Jeter. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. Thomas Casper says USF alumni support attendance is extremely weak because of the woke agenda and complaining. TJ Reeves used to do many events. I'm not sure what that has to do with it. The woke agenda and complaining. I don't know. Like the fan base is woke. I don't know. I don't think that's part of the issue here. I could be wrong. Mike H says USF has one, if not the fastest paced offense in college football. I would stick with the current coaching and push the next 2-3 years. Yeah, I mean, if you can, it's not going to be your decision. I mean, there are credible reports out there that Golesh, first of all, I would not leave USF for Oklahoma State. Timmy, you want to weigh in on that?
I wish I could. Oklahoma State is so far off of my radar right now, though.
Is it? Okay. I know you're closer to that than I am. I don't know anything about that. At one point they had the T. Boone Pickens money coming through, right?
I mean, they still kind of do, but they're nowhere near the budget that Oklahoma has, that the Texas teams here have, other than the T. Boone's Pickens. He paid for the stadium. The stadium's named after him there in Stillwater, but yeah, they don't have the funding that a lot of the schools that they have to compete with have.
Interesting. So Thomas Casper says, I have a green jacket. People are sick of dealing with ultra political correctness of USF. Is that really a thing? I don't know. We'll put it out there though. Thank you, Thomas. I am not going to the Epstein list. I'm sorry, Richie P. We're not doing that today. Not today. Maybe some other time. But which, by the way, this is the same. Like, we're all waiting for this. We already know this story, don't we? All this information has already been out there for a long time. A lot of people just don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
Information is out there and has been for a long time. We know who the people are. And we know where they've been, and we know what they've done. Many of you, I guess, are waiting for some confirmation from some source that you, I don't know what that's all about. But I think we all pretty much know what happened there. And and I think none of them will ever be held accountable because those are the people that run the world. Cue the George Carlin bit.
It's so great.
It's an exclusive club, and you ain't in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else we got here?
Can you imagine if George Carlin was still alive doing his bits?
Oh my Lord,
with all of the wokeness in the world right now, and
Yeah, we need some of that common sense. Yeah, he's
Don
like
Rickles.
one of the. He's like one of the old. Hey, I don't want to get political, but he's like the old liberals. Loved him. Like I was part of that. Like I loved what he said and how he said it. Absolutely, he's one of my freaking heroes. But I think he'd have a field day with the wokeness. Absolutely. First name greatest says Buck fan base is 1,000,000 times bigger. I never see anyone wearing USF football gear anywhere. Yeah. So all right, I don't want to spend the whole day on USF, but that was I think it's a great conversation. We got a really good conversation going. And again, I invited Tally Bull to come on the program, so maybe he'll take me up on that, and we'll have a spirited discussion because I want to learn. I want to be better. I want to be better for the program. I want to be. I don't want all the USF fans to hate me. I'm trying to support your team. Man, it's just like they don't care. I don't know. All right. Speaking of negative, Bucs Basement is in. Says also Cousins is now the quarterback going forward for the Falcons. The only team that made him look good last year was us. He got 800 yards and 8 TDs in 2 games against the Bulls defense. Yeah, and that's 100% true. Although I have heard that there may be Penix is not done yet. So, but I think moving in the near future, it's going to be Kirk Cousins. That is I tell you what, that Falcons franchise, Terry Fontenot at the top of it. And I hate it. I mean, I worked for him for a couple of years and I love Arthur Blank and I think he is a saint of a man and he is a great owner. And boy, does he deserve better. But he's making these decisions and the people that he has put in charge have let him down big time.
I think Terry Fontenot's worn out his welcome for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a disaster. The whole drafting of Penix and signing of Cousins, those things do not conjoin. A wasting of resources, panic moves in the draft. But that's theirs. But listen, if Kirk Cousins torches this defense in a couple of weeks and doesn't do anything against anybody else, that is a egregious indictment. Or I should say a perfect indictment of what's going on with this Bulls defense. And folks, I'm not here, and I said this yesterday, I'll repeat it because we have a lot of comments on the Bucs defense because the topic is, can the Bucs defense be fixed? We got to hit another break here, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit a break, pick out the best comments on this, and we're going to come back and we're going to do that. And then we'll get to the Rays as well. Can this Bucs defense be fixed? It's a very complicated question, in my opinion. And I will also say that we could have done more to fix it, and we didn't. All right, we are brought to you by the great folks at Riveters. We love Riveters, the best sports bar in all of Tampa Bay. And it is located just north of 275, just south of the stadium, right there on Dale Mabry, where that spaceship is. And let me tell you, folks, the food is fantastic. It's not just a sports bar with sports bar food. The prime rib sandwich is amazing. They do a prime rib dinner on the weekends that is absolutely insanely good and a tremendous value. The chicken wings are just the best I've had anywhere. Love their chicken wings, and all the sauces are made fresh. Everything is made fresh. They really, really, really take they're not just slopping food out there. They care about what they put out, and they care about the service, and that is unusual in this day and age. The Riveters experience is a great one. So many of you have passed it on to me. So please go on in there. Tell them JP sent you. If you're going to any event over there, it's always a great place to stop. Where are we going to pregame? Riveters. Great prices, great value, great staff. Love those folks. Back in 3. Stay with us. It's the holiday season, so come visit the wonderland of jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source with over 25 times the inventory and selection of the average jewelry store. Guys, get your shopping done early, and if you have no idea of the trends and styles that your lady wants, that's cool. The incredible staff, led by Julie and Steve Weintraub and family, will offer up some great ideas with no pressure. They offer everything for the first-time jewelry buyer to the most exquisite selection of museum-quality pieces. Enjoy a comfortable, relaxed atmosphere and experienced staff, geologists, jewelers, and designers for all your jewelry needs. From the luxurious jewelry boxes to their VIP customer care, there's many reasons to make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond. Keep it local this holiday season. Shop online anytime at goldendiamond.com or just come by their showroom at 3800 Overton Road and always online at goldendiamond.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. Are you looking for an honest AC and plumbing company? I mean, that's like trying to find a humble Saints fan, right? Well, try my friends at Third Generation AC and Plumbing Services. Been in business since 1995 here locally. And listen to what one of their customers said. Quote, the gentleman providing the service was exceptional, on time, knowledgeable, professional, and experienced. He was efficient, cleaned up behind himself, and did the work expeditiously. He not only repaired a sink, he repaired our toilet that was constantly running. We have used this company several times. They are awesome. Says it all, folks. Testimonials really say it all. Call 813-961-8024 for honest, fast service. 813-961-8024 or thirdgenerationplumbing.com. We also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Kingmakers Tampa. This is the great place that we're coming to you from right here. It is a work and play club in Midtown Tampa. So if you're looking for a place, if you're an entrepreneur, you need some office space. We have private offices here, shared office space, and we have a nice conference room that you can have as well. And this production studio is part of the deal. We also have a golf simulator and a sports bar here and all kinds of cool stuff. So check it out at kingmakerstampa.com. Come on in for a visit and say hello and become a member at kingmakerstampa.com. All right, my friend. So I asked the question, can the Buccaneers pass defense be fixed? So let me just give you a few numbers here. So I asked AI, because they're always right, by the way, to give me the rankings for the Buccaneers pass defense since 2019, since Todd Bowles took over. In 2019, they were ranked 10th in the NFL, giving up 203 yards per game. In 2020, they were ranked 29th. Interesting. In 2021, they allowed 4,347 yards over the season. This placed them outside the top 20 in the lower third of the league. 2022 ranked 10th in total defense, but specific passing yards ranking was likely in the 20s, as noted by reports on the defense's trend under Todd Bowles. 2023 allowed over 4,100 yards, are ranked around 29th in the NFL. 2024, 29th in the NFL. You sensing a trend here?
A little bit.
Yeah. And what is the pass defense ranked this year? I did not get that from my AI. So, but I'm going to guess
your AI failed you.
Good. What do you have? I'm looking at
I don't
it
know.
as well.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to say probably in the lower 20s.
Yeah,
I
would guess.
Yep. I'm not getting it. This says they've given up 2,612 yards, and that ranks in the top 10. Is that right? Can that be right? Let me double check that. Sometimes these are flipped. Yeah, this is flipped. Okay, my bad. So yeah, that's in the bottom part. So yeah, the trend is and always has been from the Todd Bowles defense, despite a lot of the narrative being that Todd runs a very complicated blitz-heavy scheme, which he does. The idea, but the question is it effective? Is it effective? Now, I understand the first-round pick this last year was a wide receiver, and a lot of us thought that they should go edge, but it's hard to argue with the selection of Emeka Egbuka. He's a superstar, and you should always draft the best player available, always, and they did that.
And we said that selection would be debated all season, especially if they struggled on defense. And now here we are.
Well, I still don't think it's debatable.
No, I'm just saying we would be talking about it, because if you hadn't drafted him, where would the wide receiver core be right now? I mean, can you imagine?
I think you would have probably 2 or 3 more losses.
Yeah,
because he's the only real threat you have and Tez is getting better, but Tez is not a very disciplined route runner. He can make plays. Shep has done really, really well, but he's limited. He's limited. So they don't have a lot of weapons there. If they didn't have a Egbuka, they'd really be shit out of luck. Yeah, so listen, it was a great draft pick, but just then the second round pick was Ben Morrison. He's struggling. He's killing you. As a matter of fact, he's struggling big time. Jacob Parrish, the third round pick, has been fantastic and probably should get more reps than he's getting. David Walker was your fourth round pick, and he had an ACL early on. Now, again, if you're counting on a fourth round pick to change your edge pass rush, that's not a great strategy, in my opinion. You're not going to find great pass rushers in the mid rounds. It's just, you might get lucky, but it's a rarity. So, and then you went and spent your biggest free agent check on Hassan Reddick at $14 million, which is not what I would call a premier pass rusher, but I thought it was great value for what you were getting. And I think, honestly, since Reddick's been hurt, this defense has really taken a step back. So all the Reddick haters might want to recount that and say we were better when he was on the field, and yes, you were. And I don't think that's arguable. So have they put the resources into it? I think they have. You've got, Cansey was a number 1 pick. Obviously, Vita Vea was a number 1 pick. You've used a lot of picks on corners and safeties. We put a lot of draft stock into this defense. So it's not been for a lack of resources, but what do you have? And are the talents and the pieces on this team better than what we're getting? I think they are. I don't think this defense has been, last week, that was embarrassing. There have been embarrassing moments for this defense this year. And the most embarrassing may be coming up on Sunday, quite frankly. And there needs to be a real conversation about the scheme and whether we have the right defensive coordinator. And people ask me all the time, would this defensive coordinator still be here if he wasn't the head coach? And I say no. Pass defense is pretty damn important in this league. Throwing the football is important. And it's not just, and I thought it got better earlier this year, but the last few games is not. And it just seems like when I watch other teams, I don't see players and receivers this open as I do with the Buccaneers, especially last year. Last year was just an abomination. Abomination. And a lot of these guys have been in this system a while. Jamel Dean, been here a long time. Winfield, been here a long time. Hell, even Zion's in his fourth year here now? I mean, these guys, this is not a lack of knowing the system. And they certainly shouldn't be wandering and be confused, although the guy that was wandering is a rookie. In Morrison, who's the all-you-can-eat cafeteria. Can it be fixed? Yeah, with the schedule coming up. Yeah, but when you play Josh Allen, when you play Matthew Stafford, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. So, yeah, I mean, if we're having an honest conversation about Todd Bowles running this defense, it's not good, and it's not good enough, and it's certainly not Super Bowl worthy. Now, they're getting some more turnovers and making some splash plays, which I like, and I'll give up yards for splash plays any day of the week. Any day of the week. But not enough pressure on Josh Allen. They get 44 points. And it's not just the number of points, it's how they were scored. When you needed a stop, when you really, really needed a stop, not only did you not stop them, you were just giving 20 yards away every single play. Those last two drives against Buffalo are the epitome of embarrassing. And that's, we're not even talking about the 4 50-yard plays you gave up the week before against the Patriots. That's just insanely bad. And you say, okay, well, we'll correct this the next week. You see that all the time in the NFL. Uh-oh. The immortal Shavers, Tyrone Shaver, whatever the hell his name is, Ernie Shavers is in the back of your end zone wide open. As Josh Allen runs around for 7 seconds against a 3-man rush featuring a bunch of slow defensive linemen and nobody that can athletically spy Josh Allen or get to him. The first play of the drive after you punt in the fourth quarter, which you never should have punted. Your linebackers back up 15 yards, allow James Cook to catch the ball 10 yards down the field next to another wide open tight end, and then run for another 8. It's just a gifted 18 yards just to start, just so we can get the next drive going, the go-ahead drive going. Jeez, oh, Pete's. You're running quarterback power from the 9-yard line, and the quarterback's not even being touched because nobody can get off a block. That's really, really bad defense. And Todd Bowles knows this, but can he fix it? Can he fix it? I mean, clearly personnel changes are not happening. Do I think it would? Did I ask for an inside linebacker and an edge and some help for this defense? Yes, before the deadline. Did they do it? No. Again, tough to criticize. We don't know what the deals were. But this defense, if your thought was, oh, you know what, Todd will fix it. We got enough guys. They don't need help. Well, the first example and the data in on the first game, not good. Not good. So my verdict is, can this defense be fixed? It'll be better against Bryce Young, I hope, and Kirk Cousins, I hope, against Jacoby Brissett, I hope, but against Matthew Stafford,
bad timing. Bad timing to get the Rams on the schedule right now.
Yeah, and they had a bit of a slog against Seattle in terms of scoring points, so they're going to want to flex a little bit this week. And can you imagine what Sean McVay is doing looking at this Buccaneers tape?
Licking his chops.
Can you give me an AI cartoon of what Sean McVay looks like with his Thanksgiving dinner, perusing the tape of this Buccaneers defense? I think you're going to come up with something, aren't you? Yeah.
Let's see what I can do.
Just think about that for a second. That's a big old turkey leg and a guy salivating over it because there's a lot to eat. There's a lot of eating opportunity. You want to talk about a cafeteria and an all-you-can-eat buffet. Sean McVay is licking his chops. And if I were a Bucs defender, I don't know. I'd look at that tape and try to have a little bit of pride and say, damn, guys, we're better than this. We are better than this. Not that I hate to put Bucs basement up here like this, but when he's right, he's right. Says, I've already taken the over on points in Stafford's passing yards. Those just feel like free money at this point. Yep. They really do. All right, what else we got from some of the fan base here on the Bucs? James says, and you're not centered, James. Listen to John Ledyard last night. Great podcast, by the way. And if the Bucs blitz Stafford, he is the best quarterback versus the blitz. So the Bucs must get pressure from 4 rushers if they expect to have a chance. Oh, Lord. And this is why it's going to be a huge game, because if you blitz Stafford, yeah, he'll get you. He'll get you. And if you try to rush 4, he'll get you. Now, he's not as mobile as Josh Allen. So that's the beautiful part of it. So hopefully he won't be able to extend plays for 6 and 7 seconds. And while we ask our defensive backs to plaster for that long, and you can't. And by this just in, the Rams receivers are a little bit better than the Bills receivers. Just a little bit. Puka, Devontae, yeah.
Yeah, as far as the ones that are healthy right now, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mike H says, but I don't trust the head coach of the Falcons, Raheem. I remember when he was our defensive backs coach in the 2012. Yeah, absolutely. Nobody does. Give me some other Bucs takes here if you can in the comments, my friend, if you see any. Here's one from Mike H. Says, Sean McVay, who tutored under Jay Gruden in Washington, was a boy wonder and won the Super Bowl. Well, now he's all grown up. Don't underestimate his talent and the wrath he will bring. Oh, I don't. More right runner adds this. The Rams have a sneaky good defense too. Good up front. Yeah, they are. Jared Verse. Yeah. The FSU boys up front back when we had good talent. Yeah, they are good.
Richie makes a good point here. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the Rams defense is they held Seattle, to 19 points, 4 turnovers by Darnold. Yeah, it's good.
Richie makes a good point saying McVay's offense, since he's been there since 2017, 2016, something like that, going on 9-10 years. His offense has certainly evolved because he is an offensive genius, as we've come to find out in that time. But what could be said about Bowles' defense since he's been in Tampa Bay? Like, how much do you think Bowles' defense has evolved since he got here over the years?
Hasn't.
Yeah, it's the same defense, right? It's exactly the same defense.
It's the same problems every year, Pass defense, guys running wide open. And we're constantly drafting defensive backs, constantly. First name greatest said Rams D has given up 17 points per game. Todd Bowles is puzzled as he's been here 7 years and can't figure out how to limit teams. Yeah, it's just, I don't remember. I mean, there have been certain moments this year where, wow, the defense is playing really good. And then there's the next half, it's awful. Like against the Eagles. The defense, first half, Eagles ate whatever they wanted. Second half, they had minus yards. I mean, weird. First name greatest said, Bowden did it at an all-girls school as well. Hey. There were a lot of girls there when I was there. Not all. There were some really smart guys that went there in the early 80s. Woo! Yeah. Should I go to Duke or should I go to I'm going to go to FSU. That sounds like a much better idea. Duke is too hard.
Golly.
I'm going to take the easy route. First name greatest says schools like Miami, USF, FSUs, and schools with small fan bases should be happy to be relevant. FSU does not have a small fan base, my friend. By the way, did you see the crowd? I won't say crowd. The Miami NC State game. Did you watch any of that? Did you see the crowd shots?
Yeah.
That's a conference game. That's a conference game, and you're still in a college football playoff hunt. it was what, 20,000, maybe 30,000,
maybe. Yeah.
Like it looked bad. It looked really bad. And they were trying not to show it either, but it looks, and that's what happens in Miami. If it's not Notre Dame, FSU, or Florida, or a huge matchup, they don't get the support, but they win football games. That's for sure. They got a ton of money in that roster. What else we got? We want to get to here, trying to give everybody a shot. Richie P says, I appreciate Golesh, and if he leaves tomorrow, I'm fine with it. If he stays, even better, because he'll only keep improving. Yeah. I'd be a little scared if he left, because, I'm not saying Rob Higgins and Derek Brooks won't find a good coach, but it's hard. It's really hard. And this guy's proven to be pretty damn good. I'm not saying he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He ain't Nick Saban yet, but he's doing a hell of a job. And I like a lot of the culture building that he's done. You can see it in the program. And the way he reacts to guys that do knucklehead stuff, the way he runs his program, you just seen it. James says, watching Lane Kiffin on McAfee was crazy. If I am an Ole Miss fan, I would be so pissed. Ole Miss is in SEC, and if they want to keep Lane, they can. I don't know. He kind of feels like he's gone. And that somebody came up to me last night at the Lightning game and was like, hey, did you see this? And it's the real estate app. One of the real estate apps, and it's just like, this is Dan Mullen's house in Gainesville, $3 million. It's been on the market for 8 months, and it just sold yesterday. Now, does that definitely mean Lane Kiffin bought the house? Well, I'll say this: there's probably not many $3 million houses in Gainesville, and the timing is curious.
Well, did you see these reports that Kiffin's family toured the Baton Rouge campus at LSU and also toured the Gainesville campus of Florida over the weekend?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
Now, those are just reports, but I mean, and you know what's funny is every time there's a Cowboys coach opening, which has been pretty frequently lately, it seems, the reports come out of the woodwork from on social media. Hey, I saw George Seifert at DFW Airport. Why would he be in Dallas? What's he doing? Or, Bill Walsh just bought a house in Dallas over by Jerry Jones's house. What does that mean? So all that crap comes out of the woodwork, and you don't know what to believe and what to not believe, but it's fun to talk about.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I will say this. I have been very, very convinced Lane Kiffin's not going anywhere. As I've said,
really,
on this show,
still think that?
And I'm starting to come off of that just a little bit, I think, man.
Yeah.
Just because of him. And it's because of him, not because of things I'm hearing elsewhere, but it's because of him, the way he's acting, the things he's saying. He has not one time committed to the program to be there next year. He hasn't said, hey, all this fun's really flat. This talk's really flattering. I'm having fun with it, but man, we got a job to do here. I'm not done in Oxford, and it's time to move on and let's focus on the task at hand. He hasn't said anything like that. No coach talk at all about stuff like that. So that tells me that there's at least a seed in his mind somewhere that the pasture might be greener, either in Baton Rouge or in Gainesville or somewhere, which is still shocking to me. It's still shocking to me.
Yeah, the fact that everybody else, all these other coaches on the market have kind of been wrapped up and their extensions have been announced, and his has not. And all of his answers, he has not said, I'm not leaving, not once. So, and listen, if he does leave, that's fine. He's earned it. He's earned it. And if that's his decision, fine. And everybody will say, well, he didn't handle it well. How are you supposed to handle these situations?
There's no right way.
It's just with the timing and everything goes on in college football. It's impossible to, do it. I don't know what the right way is. You're either cheating your next employer or cheating the one you're working with. There is no good way. There's just no good way to do it, frankly. So, but it's fascinating. It is fascinating. And here's the thing. What's Florida going to do? What's LSU going to do? I mean, all of these, whoever they hire, I'm telling you right now, if it's not Lane Kiffin, you're going to be bitching. right? If it's not Lane, you're going to be bitching. The fan base is not going to be happy. If it's not Lane or Nick Saban. And I don't think Nick's walking through that door anytime soon. No. I think he's done. But I he does have to sit next to McAfee every week. So there's that. Greg Auman reporting from practice today. It's a walkthrough for Bucs today. Bucky Irving looks like he did last week. Ben Bredesen still an observer with the sleeve on. Jamel Dean standing on the sideline. Didn't see Godwin, but we didn't on this day last week either, and he did practice, we're told. New injury for the Bucs. Chris Braswell did not practice today and looks to have his right ankle wrapped. Bucs have been without Reddick and Watts at outside linebacker, though Watts seems fine today. Let's see. He also said didn't see Chase McLaughlin at practice with Riley Dixon handling kickoffs and kicks. Okay. Could be illness. I don't think he's hurt. Said also didn't see Reddick at practice. Bowles has said Monday it was too soon to know if he would practice this week. He missed 3 games with an ankle sprain. Need to get him back.
I think that's really hurt you. Yeah, more than we've talked about. I think the loss of Reddick's really hurt you.
Yeah. So that's a practice report. Thanks to Greg Auman. Appreciate that. And Mike Evans at the Magic game last night. Magic Warriors game last night. Taking it all in. Magic playing well, by the way.
By the way, I think I figured out why Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans get along so well and have such good chemistry on the field. It's because Mike Evans has already played with Baker Mayfield back in college when his name was Johnny Manziel. Same style quarterback. Same style quarterback, same stuff. And they got along so well. Evans and Manziel still are really good friends. They had such great chemistry on the field, and now Evans, I'm sure, sees a lot of that in Baker and his abilities. Obviously, Baker's a better quarterback than Johnny Manziel was in the pros, but the mentality is still there, I think, for Baker and Johnny Manziel. And I think Mike probably sees a little bit of that in him. He's probably enjoying it.
Yeah, and they are so attached at the hip, and I can't wait they were having such a good preseason. He was going to have such a monster year. Oh, God. But listen, I can totally see him coming back, and it's such a reason that they're struggling in the red zone without Mike big time. Yeah. They need big targets and better targets in the end zone, and they're not getting it. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and I want to do a little Rays stuff. They made a lot of moves yesterday, and a lot of assumptions out there about what this new group is going to do. So we'll cover that as well. We're brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and American Standard Heating and Cooling. They are the dynamic duo that can take care of your HVAC needs. Third Generation Plumbing, great local company here, will install it for you. American Standard Heating and Cooling, the best units on the market, the most reliable, the most durable, the most efficient. So don't cheap out on this, folks. Do not go with don't cheap out on your unit. You want a high quality unit, and you spend money to have it. It's a great investment. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com and American Standard Heating and Cooling, the best in the business. Go to their website, contact them through their emergency situations. They do great stuff, and their reviews are all 5-star. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com. Back in 3. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Are you looking for an honest AC and plumbing company? I mean, that's like trying to find a humble Saints fan, right? Well, try my friends at Third Generation AC and Plumbing Services. Been in business since 1995 here locally. And listen to what one of their customers said. Quote, the gentleman providing the service was exceptional, on time, knowledgeable, professional, and experienced. He was efficient, cleaned up behind himself, and did the work expeditiously. He not only repaired a sink, he repaired our toilet that was constantly running. We have used this company several times. They are awesome. Says it all, folks. Testimonials really say it all. Call 813-961-8024 for honest, fast service. 813-961-8024 or thirdgenerationplumbing.com. We also do AC.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Onsite Construction Restoration. OnsiteConstructionFL.com is the website if you're looking to build residential, commercial, add on to your home, renovate. They do all that stuff. OnsiteConstructionFL.com is the website. Check them out. Good folks over there. All right, I want to get to the Rays here, but a couple more comments that I want to get into. We'll see some new folks in here. Lance Simon, welcome in, Lance. Good to see you in here. Some people forget that USF is still a relatively young football program. Golesh is still a young head coach, and they both will go through growing pains. Yes, voice of reason. Thank you, Lance. Appreciate that. Someone, Richie P, is saying, and I just can't stand this, that George Carlin was a true liberal and would definitely be one today. A woke liberal? No, he wouldn't. Bill Maher was a liberal too.
Depends on what your definition of a true liberal is. I mean, it's true liberals aren't woke liberals. I mean, in my definition, but
I don't think. What else we got in here? Michael LaRue, kind of love this. He said Hassan Reddick had 1 sack in 10 games last year. Bucs top 4 pass rushers, Yaya, Nelson, Braswell, and Reddick have a combined 11 sacks last year. This was never a good plan. Well, it wasn't the only plan. And you know, Reddick, we're looking at and we're saying that wasn't him last year, right? It was the previous 5 years where he averaged.
Consider his body of work before last year. Yeah, that's what you're doing.
I think we all were kind of okay with the Reddick signing. And remember, it was $14 million for 1 year. Your options were to try and trade for one of these, Myles Garrett, give up 3 first-round picks, and then pay him $45 million a year. I don't think that was a good option. Mm-hmm. So, Michael, now here's where we could get a little some criticism. Could we have done more in the draft? Have there been guys, and I haven't checked, the top pass rushers, how are they doing this year in the draft? The ones that we actually had a shot at where did we draft last year? 19
was, yeah.
Yeah. And there still were a few guys on the board, but Ezeraku, I'm not sure if he's done a whole lot this year.
Rookie of the year. He's in rookie of the year standing. Yeah.
Ezeraku?
Yeah.
What does his number look like?
Well,
you've watched the play. Tell me how he's playing.
Yeah. Oh no, he's not playing like a rookie at all. He's got a brain far beyond. And keep in mind, he plays on a terrible defense.
Yeah. And where did you guys get him? First round?
He was second round.
Or did he last to the second? He lasted the second round.
He fell to the second round. Yeah.
Top of the second round.
His exact positioning was, where do they get him in the second? 44th overall pick.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do believe I remember saying after we got Ibuka, maybe I think I did. We talked about Ezeraku because Scott Reynolds was really high on him as well. Mm-hmm. And we said, I would like to see the Bucs move back into the first round, move up in the first or second round and get him. Spend, typically it's going to cost you a third round pick, but that would be Jacob Parrish. Oops.
Yep.
Who's going to be a really good player.
Kind of need him.
So,
yeah.
Could you have moved up with a fourth round pick? I don't know. So there were opportunities. And if you're saying Jason Light has not put enough resources into edge rushing, I would agree with you. Now, the picks that he's made, with the exception of Chris Braswell, that was not good.
I think that was cross your fingers and hope this thing works out, and it just hasn't.
Yeah. Velcro, as we call him. Resigning a Gimpy Godwin, says first man named greatest. $22 million and Reddick $15 million was not good. That $37 million could have been used to fill in holes on the defense. Well, if you'd have told me Godwin was going to be injured all year, I would believe you. So they bet on him being able to come back, and they lost. So sometimes injuries are, but there's the mitigating part is he was already injured. So to your point, we signed an injured player who's still injured. Maybe we should have seen that coming, but again, we can't handicap that because we don't have the information. All right. Want to move on to the Rays here? We'll get to a few more comments in a minute because I would definitely want to hit the Rays. So they made some moves yesterday, and there's a lot of names that you guys probably don't know, and I don't know, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds with it. It's more like, what do we see happening? Number one, Christopher Morel was DFA'd. Thank God. I just cannot stop. I just couldn't watch any more of those at-bats where he's just flailing away. And, it's kind of a weird player. We get some walks, but then would swing at pitches that were just horrible and never seemed to adjust his swing, never cut down his swing. It was just all or nothing. Struck out a career high 37% of the time, or his whiff rate was a career high 35.7%. I mean, and you just never see that getting better. And so they DFA'd him, and I think that was a good move. And of course, being traded for Itzhak Paredes, who continues to hit home runs and be an all-star, is a tough one. Obviously, we had to make room for Junior Caminero. I get that, but the room that you made, giving up an all-star third baseman and a guy who may consistently hit 30 bombs a year with 80 to 100 RBIs for Christopher Morel is a horrible, horrible outcome. And Hunter Biggie, obviously, who got hurt in that freak accident, getting hit by a line drive. Will he be able to come back and add something? Let's hope. But this was a big whiff. And if we're being honest, the Rays trades over the last few years have not been great. And this being the worst of them. So a bit of a whiff. So what do we look forward to? So Eric Neander said and told Mark Topkin at the Times, Mo worked his tail off. He couldn't ask for a better teammate. He really just struggled to find consistency throughout his game. The last year and then this year, he just couldn't access the power on a consistent enough basis to reach his potential. So now they also designated Jake Fraley, who they just picked up for assignment. But a lot of this is because of the Rule 5 draft coming up. And they know that guys that are out on the market like this, who they've kind of picked up, will not be taken by other teams. So they're more safe off the 40-man roster. So you got to go add some young players who are up and coming that you might lose and you don't want to lose. Those are catcher prospect Dominic Keegan, infield Yadier Arianamo, I think that's how you say it, and right-hander Alex Cook. So those are all guys that were added to protect them. Outfielder Everson Pereira and infielder Tanner Murray to the White Sox for right-handers Yandres Gomez and Steven Wilson. And they traded infielder Tristan Gray to the Red Sox for reliever Luis Guerrero.
It looks like they're stocking up on pitching is what it looks like.
Yeah, they're stopping out some good arms. So I think those are all good deals. But what it tells me more than anything is they're getting ready to make a move in the outfield. There's no way they're going to next year with just this outfield. And it might be a big move. It might be a big move. Now, the Big O and I on yesterday's show, and by the way, really good show, really interesting stuff. We talked about, and we talked to, what was his name? William Brooks, and he is a expert in Japanese sports marketing, and has worked with a lot of deals in Japan, and knows the inner workings of how Major League Baseball teams market to the Japanese audience and make a shit ton of money. He said yesterday that the Dodgers have already recouped $700 million in Japanese sponsorships and merchandise that has been sold in we're not just in Japan, but just signing of Shohei Ohtani. And a lot of this coming from Japanese companies. They've already recouped that money.
So he's paid for himself.
and the money's deferred, by the way.
Yeah.
So they're taking in this money. And some of these deals last over the year, so they haven't collected it all yet. But it's and we talked about this as an excellent strategy for the Rays, who are a quote low revenue team, to be able to add other revenues and add players. You know, I'm not here to tell you that we're going to start going over after, the Ohtanis of the world, but there are some players that are coming over, and we detailed a lot of them that could fit with the Rays, and to develop this relationship with Japanese companies and the folks over there. He also told us that 50% of the households in Japan were watching Game 7 of the World Series because of all the, not only because they love baseball, because of Ohtani, Sasaki, and Yamamoto for the Dodgers. And by the way, these players are really good and they help you win World Series. So this is an excellent opportunity for this new ownership group to invest in some of these Japanese players and get the return on investment, something that Stu never really wanted to do to any great degree. So it's a fascinating conversation. I highly, if you're a Rays fan, go check it out. And at the end of it, we also went through some of the outfielders that might be out there. And mentioned Joe Adell for the Angels, who was not a great defender. He was minus 13 in defensive runs saved last year, but he hit 37 home runs. And, this is a guy that might be able to be had for a couple of years, $30 million. So not the top tier guys, not the Kyle Tuckers, not the Bichettes, but guys like this that can add some real pop to this outfield and real pop to the lineup. And boy, wouldn't that be great to see. So to me, if I'm looking at this group of moves so far, it looks like to me that they're kind of getting ready. And by the way, Brandon Lau on the trade block, which is interesting. And we talked about this, re-sign Brandon Lau at this number, and he becomes a very attractive trade piece for a lot of these big money teams that will absorb a $12 million contract like it's nothing. Then you free up that money. You free up the Fairbanks money you've already done. So that's $25 million. You move Chandler Simpson to second base, which is his natural position. And he's never going to be a great outfielder with that arm. So to me, and that's, a second base is more of a typically a light hitting position. And you get a guy there that's not light hitting. He's a huge part of your offense because of his elite bat skills. And I'm not sure how good he is defensively at second base, but I heard he's pretty good. And I don't know if that's such an important, everything up the middle is important. I get it. But to me, that seems where this might be going, because you don't want to take Chandler Simpson out of your lineup. He's a great piece right at the top. Leave him there. Hits righties and lefties evenly at 300. Get his on-base percentage up. When he starts learning how to really, the nuances of stealing bases, I think he could be a 70, 80 bag guy a year. So, and this makes your outfield better instead of trying to shoehorn him in to something that he's really not. Go get some really good defensive outfielders. If you get Adele, you want to make up for that. So I think they're more maneuvering from what I see early on to maybe make a big splash. Not promising it, and maybe big splash is not the right word. Medium splash, not Timmy off the high dive with the belly buster, but
that's a pretty big splash right there. You don't even know.
Yeah, that's a Kyle Tucker one. So I think and they're bolstering their bullpen. So I think it's interesting. So, and obviously there's already people out there criticizing, they're not going to spend any money because they got to build a stadium and they've overpaid. No, listen, first and foremost, I've said this before. They didn't overpay for the team because that's all relative. That team was already valued at $1.4 billion. And they actually paid 1.52 because Stu retained 10%, which they'll probably buy him out of, I would think, relatively soon when the revenue starts coming in. And typically those numbers that they're valued at are all guesses by Forbes and whoever's doing these, because they don't see the real numbers. The Rays actually, the new ownership saw the real numbers. They know what the real numbers are. And so how you can say they overpaid, and typically these estimations are about 20% less than teams are purchased for anyway, except for the Orioles. They got that one right. But most of the time they're on all sporting. Every time you see something sold, it's, that was worth less than that. Yeah, they always overpay for it because there's egos involved and things like that. And the fact that, the money that's going in to build a stadium, it's, that does not affect what your payroll budget is, because we're talking. So if they go from 90 to 110, 120, 130 this year, 30, 40 million in a year, these stadiums are paid for over 30 years. Plus, they're not just building a stadium. They're building a huge real estate development. And the amount of money that they're going to borrow on this deal is ridiculous. And so you need the cash flow, obviously. But the stadium build and the other builds have nothing to do with your payroll. Nothing. Or certainly should not. Yeah. It's not like they have to write a check for this stadium right away. It's all going to be financed, and there'll be public financing that comes into it. Typically, debt service on a stadium, it depends on how it's done for the teams, but it could be $30, $40 million a year. That's it. You're not writing a $2 billion check. So it should not and never does affect the actual payroll to 10, 20, 30 million when you're talking about building a stadium and amortizing it over to 30, 40 years or whatever it is. And the revenue you're going to be counting on coming in from all these other revenue streams. So I don't think that's really a thing. And from what I've been told from this group, they want to incrementally increase the payroll and understand that it was being kept artificially low, even based on the revenues that were coming in under Stu. He was spending percentage-wise less at the bottom three of the entire Major League Baseball. That's just percentage of your revenues. If he'd have spent to 50% of his revenues, like most clubs do, he would have been well into the 150s. So this group that's what they're looking at, where they should be, not what they've historically been. Thank God. And clearly that's the way to go. All right. Anything else, Timmy, that we need to get to? Any other comments?
No, but I will tease for tomorrow, JP, when we get into Bucs talk tomorrow. I have identified 2 off-season free agent targets for the Bucs that could help their pass rush.
Ooh,
for next year.
I'm interested. You're just going to tease that on me?
Yeah, it's a tease. That's why we call it a tease,
Okay.
JP.
Okay. I am interested. I wanted to, I'll take just a couple minutes and Timmy, I sent you a couple pictures yesterday. Maybe you'll throw it up since we got a few minutes here at the end, of me and my pops.
Yeah.
And I just kind of do this because I put a post on Facebook and about my dad's passing. And I wanted to, since I don't want to do it off the top of my head, I'm going to read it. And it's got a lot of response. So I just thought maybe I'd share it on the show as well. And a lot of you guys, and I really appreciate you, Daniel Rivera. I saw your nice note in there, and I've gotten so much outpouring of sympathy, which was probably something I was trying to avoid when I didn't want to post about it. But I really appreciate it now and that I've gotten it. And I really appreciate everybody reaching out. I can't tell you how much that's meant to me. Because like I found out, interestingly enough, we've all had a lot of really complicated relationships with our dads, especially. And for some reason, I've had, Orestes' dad passed 3 or 4 weeks ago. Then my dad passed, and I've had a bunch of friends whose fathers have passed recently. Like recently, it seems to be like an epidemic going on. So a lot of us are going through this. So here's what I wrote. So I wasn't sure I was going to post about my dad's passing last week. I just wasn't feeling it, just being real. Today feels different, and I'm not going to pretend it was perfect and it was complicated, but you did your best, and that's enough, Dad. Much to forgive and be thankful for. As I grow older, I see your imperfections were just being human. I've made so many mistakes, but never intended to hurt or disappoint anyone. But I have, and so have you. We are all human, sinners and saints, depending on the day and the perspective. I will remember some great times, as I said at your very well-attended 90th birthday. You started slow, but finished strong. I will never forget that picturesque January day at the Rose Bowl in your hometown of Pasadena, where you played your college football for Caltech in 1949. You had not been back since. 64 years later, we watched my beloved Seminoles win the national championship. You tailgated with us that day, doing fireball shots, chased by your beloved Miller Lite. Yeah, there's a picture of me and my dad. Really crappy seats. We should have done better. But there's a little something to that. I was supposed to sit in the press box that day as a reporter, but decided to get us 2 bad tickets up high in the end zone to take it in together. One of the best decisions of my life. You said it was one of the best days of your life. And I've carried on that father-son FSU tradition, taking my son Cullen to a game every year. Now that's the good picks right there. Look at me in front. That's me in front.
Haven't changed a bit, JP.
Sister and my brother and my dad. That's Fort Lauderdale, 1960, probably 5.
Is that a Corvair right behind you?
It is. Nice.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
That?
Yes. It's our house on 13th Street in Florida. And you know who lived on that block? Wayne Huizenga. They were good friends.
Wow.
Former owner of the Dolphins. I said, thanks for helping me through college, through life, being there when you could. It was always funny to say, I love you, Pops, and you would never say it back. It's not something your generation did. I get it. But we've changed that in our family. So that's good. I hope I made you proud, Dad. Love you. And there's I got a little choked up. There's all right. Link on my Facebook page that goes to his obituary. You can read about my dad's life. That was quite incredible. Designed a 7 Seas Lagoon over there at Disney, and we're going to have a celebration of life over there for him over Christmas with my brother and kids coming in. So, yeah, a lot of us go through it in life, and there are good times and bad times, but you remember the good ones. And remember, as a parent and as a child, we're not perfect. We're far from it. And, we never know what our parents are dealing with, but as you get older, you have a different perspective.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny, JP. I lost my dad in 95 at the young age of 20. I guess I was 25. 7 years and 1 day on the calendar after I'd lost my mom at the age of 18 in 1988. And me and my dad got a lot closer after my mom died. She died of breast cancer. My dad and I got a lot closer after the death of my mom. And he died suddenly, unexpectedly, actually, while he had moved to Denver, Colorado. And I was on the phone with him watching an Aggies game on the phone as we were both watching, and we were yucking it up, drinking beer because we couldn't be in the same room together watching it. And our connection got disconnected. Weird. Called him back, busy signal, whatever. Later that night, his wife, who he had just married, who I don't really refer to as my stepmom because that would be weird, but called me that night letting me know that my dad had passed away, sitting in his chair, apparently watching the game and talking to someone on the phone.
Yeah.
And of course, I told her, I said, well, that was me. And however many years now that was, 30 years ago now, it doesn't get any easier, man. My thoughts and prayers with you and your family and Big O and his family. And it's rough. And, our fathers you and I are fortunate enough to have had our fathers have a huge impact in our lives. Not all are that lucky and that fortunate. And I understand that. And, like you said, the relationship is never perfect.
No.
But later you realize and you cherish it for what it was and for the person that made you and the person that your father helped mold you into. And that feeling, that appreciation never goes away. And you'll carry that with you and instill that in your own children for the rest of their lives. And that's something very special we can take with us.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. So if you have parents and they're still alive, tell them you love them. If you're, hello, Colin and Shay, call your dad. And, don't be regretful about the time you didn't spend with family. And also, I say this as well, sometimes they deserve your time and sometimes they don't. And it's okay. It's okay. We go into holidays, a lot of people, there's a lot of obligation to family, and some of it is earned and some of it is not. And all I can say is have conversations with people and talk it through. There's probably a lot of things that, are assumptions on either side that need to be worked through, so do that and work it through with your parents, your kids, all of that. Talk, communicate. That's where the key is, and you'll understand each other better while they're living and not just when they're passed. So, and tell them you love them. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, but you should be honest with everybody and let them know what you're feeling, because, it doesn't get better if you just hold grudges in your heart. I've done both, and it's a mistake to hold it. It definitely is. Talk it out and get to a better place. But more than anything, start spending more quality time with the ones that you love. Don't just text them, call them, do a video call. It's even better. It's almost like you're there, and do it more. Take time to do it. Think about what we spend our time doing, how much effing time we scroll, and turn that time into quality time with the people that you love, and make sacrifices to do it. It sucks getting on a plane sometimes. Sucks driving to Orlando. Sucks driving to wherever. But it's worth it. If they've earned it. It's worth it. And, and I'm not talking about perfection. They don't have to be perfect, but they're doing their best. Make it happen over the holidays. All right, that'll do it for us today.
You want some breaking
Buccaneers
sports news real quick? Breaking
Sure.
sports news, JP. The Atlanta Falcons have signed their quarterback to replace Michael Penix Jr. Former Gator Kyle Trask.
Oh, Wow. Well, he's played some good games in Atlanta. I'll give him that. That's some of his finest hours. I don't know if that was in the Georgia Dome or in Mercedes-Benz, but yeah, okay. Happy for him. Happy for Kyle Trask. Good job. Yeah, get a shot. Now, if Kyle Trask takes over for Cousins and throws for 400 against this Bulls defense, I'm done.
He knows them pretty well, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes, he does. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm freaking done. I am done. Yeah, if that happens, Bulls needs to be fired on the spot. All right. Thank you for changing my mood there. That's good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you jumping in and being part of this big family of Petermans. We really love you all. Even stop yelling at each other in the chat. I see you. Stop being mean. And
we all just get along.
Let's end the political stuff. That's it for another place, another time. All right. We get bogged down in that crap. I'm trying to keep it positive here. Love you guys. As my old mentor, Chris Thomas, used to say, tell somebody you love them. We'll see you tomorrow.